Hello, hello, and welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Pamela here, and I am so excited to talk with you today about college applications. And we are in college application season right now, but I got so many goodies I'm going to share with you. So even if you have a teen that's in ninth, 10th, or 11th grade, there's so many gems you're going to get in our time together. So let me just share with you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about with college applications. Right now, there are a lot of college applications being submitted with deadlines coming up shortly. And what I want to share with you is just talking about what's in the application, because so many parents ask me about what's in the college application, because a lot of times they don't see it and their team will be submitting things that perhaps they shouldn't be submitting, if you know what I mean. So I really want to dig into that with you for just a few minutes. And by the way, if you're joining for the first time, I'm Dr. Pamela Ellis, the education doctor and founder of Compass College Advisory, where we partner with busy moms to help their teen find a college that feels like home without overpaying. And so the results of our work is that 95% of our clients have been admitted to their top choice colleges, and the average scholarship is $75,000. So I have some things that I want to share with you today. And by the way, please drop in the comments where you're joining in from. I love reading them, love seeing where you're joining in from. We have centers in a number of cities, and I travel a lot to visit colleges and would love to just check in with you in your city and perhaps see you in person, which would be lovely. So, anyway, we're going to talk about college applications today because there's so much going on in the college application. And here's the thing about it: even if you have a ninth grader, they are already putting together their college application. And I talk about it as a portfolio. So they are putting together their college application portfolio because everything starts counting from ninth grade on. So the colleges are going to see ninth grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. And in some cases, they're going to see 12th grade as well. And so it's really important that as you are preparing your teen for college, that you're thinking strategically around how are they going to be positioned so that they not only get into their top choice colleges, but they get scholarships as well. And listen, before I forget, let me just mention as well that coming up this weekend is College Prep Made Easy. And I tell you, I definitely want to see you there. All you have to do is go to collegeprepmadeeasy.com. That's going to be a great time. It's for parents to really get all that they need so that they are positioning their teen to get in and get money for college. I want you to go there and join us this weekend. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time, let me tell you. So let me get into what I was going to share with you related to the application. So there are actually 5 key documents that are going to be part of your teen's college application portfolio. 5 key documents. Now, one of them is going to be the transcripts. Now, that's kind of a low-hanging fruit because that one you probably already knew was coming. That's the transcripts. And so the transcripts are going to show their grades, the courses that they're taking. Now, what question should you be asking yourself in terms of what's in your teen's transcript? And so here's what I want you to think about so that as you are looking at their transcript and even helping them with course planning, if you have a younger student, I'm sure you're helping them with course planning. The question to think about in that regard is there rigor in terms of their curriculum? And so it's going to depend on what's offered at their high school. And so some students may be taking AP courses, in 10th and 11th grade. Others may have access to honors courses. So, whatever your school offers that's the most rigorous for your teen, you want to be sure that they're taking those types of courses. And sometimes it's the honors courses that's going to be most rigorous for them. Other times, perhaps it's the advanced placement courses, if they're offered, that will be the most rigorous for them. But really taking what's most rigorous for them personally. That's how you want to think about the transcript. Now, again, we're going to get into this in a whole lot more detail with College Prep Made Easy coming up. And I want you to take advantage of it if you have a college bound students, because what we're talking about is positioning them to get into their top choice colleges and to get scholarships as well. So please go to collegeprepmadeeasy.com and you'll be able to join us for this one of a kind event. So transcripts, as I mentioned, that's the first one. The second one that you should know about would be test scores. Now, there is so much going on about test scores. And let me just say this in terms of test scores. Don't you know that you can go to a college's website and you can see what the average test scores are for students that are recently admitted? Now, if they are test optional, how do you think they have an average test score? Okay, see, I'm letting you think about it for a moment because, one of the biggest, terms that's confusing right now is this whole notion of test optional. And let me just share with you what that means. Test optional means that your team does not have to send in any scores. And on the other side, if your team does send in their scores, they'll look at them. And the short of it is that there are still a lot of students who are submitting test scores. And oftentimes, they're going to be the students who have higher test scores. And so, in some cases, it may be part of your team's portfolio, maybe not. That's where you need to decide and really consider, just how competitive your team scores are vis-a-vis other students who are applying to the same college that are on their list. And so that's how you think about the test scores. Now, the other thing about that is, take either or. I mean, so if your state requires the ACT, then let them take the ACT. If the state graduation requirement is SAT, focus on that. The way that a lot of times, students or parents will get hung up is, trying to take both of them. And it just ends up wasting a lot of time and money. And so I really do encourage you just to focus on the one that's going to be best for your team. So test scores, that's another one that's in it. The third one is activities resume. Now, the activities resume starts at 9th grade. And I know that sometimes students may want to include things from middle school, and that's all well and good, but it should be from 9th grade on. And so for those of you who have a student now in 9th or 10th grade, I want you to think strategically around their activities resume. And the way to think strategically about it is to think, what is it that they care about? What is it that they care about? That's what should be reflected on their activities resume. Because for the readers at the colleges, what they're looking for is, how has this student contributed in high school? What's been important to them? And so it's not about seeing a lot of little things, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What do they really care about? focusing in on that. And that's what's going to really stand out and be a strong activities resume. And I often will refer to it as a meaningful activities resume. Now, let me just pause for a minute because you guys know how I just get so excited about all of this. Let me step back for a minute and take a breath. So, before we go on, I want to make sure for those of you who are joining in now, please drop in the chat where you're joining in from. I want to hear from you. And certainly, even if you have questions as I am speaking, please drop it in the chat because I love to go back and be able to respond in real time to your questions. I was talking earlier about College Prep Made Easy, which is coming up this weekend, and I am inviting you to join us. It's going to be a great time and an opportunity for parents to really learn everything they need to know to support their teen with not only getting into their top choice colleges, but getting scholarships as well. And this event it's a great event because we get a chance to really dig into some of these concepts that I'm sharing with you and to really think about how it applies to your teen and what it is that you need to do to make sure that they're positioned and that you're preparing and planning for them in a strategic way. So please join us by going to collegeprepmadeeasy.com. There are seats available, and I can't wait to see you there. So I've gone through these first three documents that are part of your teen's college application portfolio. Now, I want to step into the next two that are really super important. So this fourth one that I want to share with you is teacher recommendations. Yes, teacher recommendations. Oftentimes, students may overlook this as part of, really giving the colleges an opportunity to get to know them and get to know how they are in the classroom setting. The teacher recommendations are important for doing that. And the key thing you need to know is that it should be from a core teacher. So focus on making sure that your teen is developing those strong relationships with their core teachers, in addition to other teachers that they may really enjoy getting to know. And then also, when you think about the teacher recommendation, a question to ask is, does this teacher really know my teen? That's the key thing. Do they really know your teen? And do they understand the promise of your teen in terms of contributing to college life? So those are the key things. And so sometimes it may not be the teacher that they have earned an A in their class. I tell students all the time, who is that teacher that you really worked hard for? That should be the one that can write you a very strong recommendation letter. So that was the fourth one. Now, the fifth and final one, and this one I should say, really is one where students can shine and stand out in a way that all of the other four documents may not speak for them. And that is with the essays. So essays are uber important. And what the essays do is they really tell your teen's story. And of course, I love the essays in so many ways. One of the things that I did during my graduate work was to create a high school writing program when I was at Stanford. And that writing program was about students really sharing their voice, writing in the narrative. And so much of college essays are just that. They are telling a story. They're talking about themselves in a way that may feel a little bit uncomfortable because it's really different from the analytical writing that they may be doing at the high school level. And so I really encourage students, though, to, be open, be authentic, really show who they are in terms of the essays that they're writing. And Angela just posted a question for me. Angela, I'm going to look at your question. It says that you were told not to allow your daughter. Let me see if I can read this. It keeps going in and out. Let's see. You were told not to allow your daughter to take honors or CP classes. Uh, okay. Okay, I'll definitely tell you my thoughts on that, Angela. Thanks for that question, because I do get that a lot. And the thing about it is that I'm going to always, almost always say challenge herself. And so I would highly recommend that your daughter does take, a college level or honors course to challenge herself. And it's not so much as, it being, one where she can easily make an A in the class or earn an A in the class. I would suggest that she does take those honors or college level classes that can really show that she can do college level work. Because one of the things that I've often seen is that if the colleges see that the high school offers all of these rigorous courses and she doesn't take advantage of any of them, what does that say about her own intellectual curiosity or willingness to take those rigorous courses? And the thing about it too is that there is another place, Angela, inside of the reports that the counselor submits that ask, the kind of rigorous courses that the student has taken. And so they kind of have a little scale, and you don't want it to be that it says that she has not taken a rigorous course load at all. And so that doesn't reflect as highly. And so that's what my suggestion would be to you. And I really appreciate you asking that question, because I hear that one a lot in terms of students being told not to really take a certain course because they won't earn an A in it. I say that, oftentimes when students do step up, they find that the other students in the class, a lot of the engagement helps them with still being challenged and doing well at the same time. So please keep me posted on that, Angela. And thank you so much, because that's a really great question. And I love it. I love it. I love it. So I've been talking and talking and talking, and I've gone way over my time. But anyway, thank you so much, Angela, for your question. And I thank you all so very much. And I look forward to you joining me this weekend at collegeprepmadeeasy.com, and really appreciate you joining in to really understand just what it takes in terms of what's included in your student's application portfolio. And I refer to it as an application portfolio because all of the pieces fit together. They fit together. So there's not a lot of redundancies. And one of the ways to think about that is when you think about your teen's essay, for example, when we're coaching students on their essays, we're telling them, okay, the colleges already know the name of your high school. And if you only have 50 words, you don't need to say your high school name again. It's kind of redundant. And so that's what I mean in terms of it all fitting together. And so the things that the teacher shares should complement everything else that's in their portfolio. In the same way, if your teen, for example, Angela, if your teen is saying that, she loves learning and she's really challenged herself in particular courses, then that should also be conveyed in terms of the rigorous, challenging courses that she's taken via her transcript. So all fits together. It all fits together and tells that full story of how amazing your daughter is. So I want to thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all this weekend at College Prep Made Easy. Just go to collegeprepmadeeasy.com and we're going to have a great time. So thank you all so very much. And I'll talk to you next time.